Yo, make sure we rolling. What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Ty here, back with another video. If you are new here to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, what's good, man? Look, I know it's been a while since I've done one of these types of videos, so I had to do a video. But before I get into today's video, if you like anything that is lifestyle and motivational, this is the channel for you. Also, if you like today's video as well, please go ahead and like the video. It helps push the message out there to the community, and so we can spread the word, baby. Let's get into it. Also, stick around to the end of the video as well, because I'm gonna tell you what my favorite setup is out of these three. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video. All right, y'all. So I haven't made, I like to do my lifestyle videos, and I haven't made a gun video in a little while, so I figured I would make this video. I know there's gonna be a lot of new gun owners here in 2025, and especially with our new leadership, some things are shifting and changing, and I think a lot of people are gonna be looking to buy guns and join the 2A community, kind of like they are every single year. So I figured I would make this video for y'all, and because I like making gun videos anyway, and you know how I get down, how Ty gets down. So I had to make this video for y'all. So I'm gonna jump right into it. I'm not gonna get into depth into either of these setups. I've made videos of some of these setups. One of the guns you haven't seen in a while, but I'm not gonna go into as far as like each setup. So I'm gonna just go over briefly. I'm also not gonna get too far into the specs of every single thing. You can do your own research. I'm just trying to give somebody an idea of some things to look for, and then y'all can do your own research. So let's get into it, baby. All right, so the first things first here, you already know this thing is clear, man. There's nothing in here, but just for the record, so there is nothing in here as well. So what do we have here? We have a 16-inch AR right here. As you can see, so this is a 16-inch AR right here. And with that being said, this would be considered more of a longer purpose, or kind of long. I wouldn't say long range, because typically if you were setting up something long range, it'd be probably like an 18-inch AR. This is 16, but with this type of setup, just given the furniture and the optic and the barrel and how I have it set up, essentially you can do, I would say, some distance training with this. So anybody who's looking to purchase their first AR, this is always a good option as far as 16-inch, because for one, you don't have to kind of get into some of the rules of the length, overall length, X, Y, and Z. Again, that's just stuff that you can research yourself, but this is always a good starting point for somebody who wants to get into the AR family, you know what I'm saying? Now this can really kind of, as far as distance, this can kind of push out to about 500, maybe 600 yards, depending on how well you're trained and just how good you are. But this one right here is gonna be, I would say, something for a longer purpose and just a little bit more, I would say, distance. How I have it set up, you got your scope on here as well. And with this type of optic on here, you're not really going to be doing a whole lot of running and gunning, especially this thing is already kind of heavy. And so that's why I said maybe for a first time AR user, you may not want to do 18 inches. 16 inches is just a nice sweet spot if you're not doing distance, super long distances. You can still reach out and touch about 500 to 600 yards on this. And so you'll still be in the game. You know what I'm saying? If you got to reach out and get something 500, 600 yards, hopefully you're good enough to get that. But this will get you there. This will get you to what you need to get to. And as you can see, something like this is a heavier setup, and it's heavier setup because of the optic. And then this stock I have on here as well, it's a little bit thicker. But you want it a little bit thicker because you want a nice cheek weld on there. You know what I'm saying? So you want to be able to get on there long enough and have enough room on here to be able to post up. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to be posted up, obviously. You're not going to be running and gunning with this. This thing is kind of heavy. I mean, you'll have a sling, but as far as like target acquisition and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? It's just a different type of setup. Something for distance, this one might be the one for you. All right, let's get to it. All right, so for my next one, this one is one of the ones where it's kind of like in the middle. All right, so here we have 11.5 inch right here. This is clear as well. Nothing in here. It is clear. Now, this one has, I have a can on it right now. Let me take this off actually. You can do some running and gunning with it. So anybody who's looking to get like a nice, probably middle ground, this would be the one for you. This is 11.5 inch. And obviously I don't have my sling on this as well, but some of you guys have seen this before, but essentially with this one here is it kind of puts you in that middle ground. You know, there's different lengths and stuff that people will argue, but for me personally, I went with 11.5, and I thought that this was purposeful for me. The thing is with this one, just depending on, you know, your like where you're at and where you live, again, you know, something like this versus this, you know, something like this could be ideal for somebody who lives in, you know, an area where they need more distance, you know what I'm saying? And for me, like, this is why I picked this one up, because I live in the Midwest. There is a lot of open land in some areas, and so something like this could be useful for me. Now, something like this for somebody else, it might be a little different. But this one, as far as like the purpose goes, it just really depends on what you're doing. You could use this for like close quarters combat. This one, you won't really push out too far though. That's the thing. Like, you're probably gonna get 200-300 yards on this. You know, you're not gonna really like try to test the range on this one. This one's more for a little bit what they call is close quarters combat. You know, you can kind of run and gun with this one if you will. But this one's nice and light. Keep it up tight. And this one's just one that you can really lug around, I would say. You know, you can lug around the other one, given you obviously have like a sling or something like that, but that one's just gonna be more so when you're posted up. This one you can take with you, engage, re-engage, engage, re-engage, and do what you gotta do at the end of the day. And so, like I said, this one might be for somebody who, you know, they don't live in a big open area and they might want to just have something for a little bit closer encounters, something not too far. You know, a lot of the encounters are really gonna be, honestly, anywhere from 10 to 15 yards on in. So you're not gonna really be doing a whole lot of distance, but you may want to pick up something like that as well, where you can kind of get off in distance. But this is a nice middle ground too. A lot of people will argue what, you know, length, 12.5, 11.5, 14.5, all these 13.7, like all this different stuff here. But for me personally, I wanted to go with 11.5. I thought this was ideal for me. It's nice and sweet. You know what I'm saying? I think this is a nice sweet spot. It's cool, it's light. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fast. I can run and gun. You know, this is it. This is my baby. I mean, they're all my babies, but you know, somebody who's looking at something like kind of in the middle, definitely probably look at it 11.5 inch and, you know, do your research on it and see how you like it. Last but not least, we have the 7-inch, and this is a 7-inch barrel right here. Now, both of the other guns that I showed you were chambered in 5.56. This one is chambered in 300 blackout. And again, this is empty. There's nothing in here. There's nothing in here. With that being said, so now you got something a little bit smaller, okay? So with this one being a little bit smaller, this one is really easy to maneuver. You can kind of do whatever you need to do with this one. With this one, they would call probably like a truck gun or a backpack gun. But this one, you could really just tote this thing around if you truly wanted to. Like, it really shortens up. You know, I know you guys just seen this one in a recent video that I did, but I mean, with this one, man, you can really just, I mean, you could just tuck this thing away in a book bag, and like I said, in the back of a truck, however you want to transport this thing. This one's easily transportable, and you know, with something like this, this one's really close quarters combat, home defense, especially with this round, this chamber, the 300 blackout. I don't have this suppressed, unfortunately. I'm waiting on the can for this, but something like this, you know, you can really do your thing, pull it out of a backpack and get to work. So with something like this, you know, you're really in the game. And mind you, you know, it depends on, you know, your living arrangement, you know, it just depends on your surroundings. So this might be an option for somebody who needs something, just something light, something for on the go, but then something for, you know, the home as well. And, you know, eventually you can get each one, but starting out, you may not want something like this. You know what I'm saying? You may think that you want to start with this one, which I would recommend probably for somebody starting out and just getting to shoot, learning to shoot, probably start with this one versus something like this one, okay? Also with something like this one, you know, you're gonna be learning how to use something this small. And really with something like this, you are gonna be able to just maneuver and it's gonna be a lot lighter. Now, as far as shooting this thing, I'm not gonna get into that as well. But again, this is just for somebody to really kind of look at each different length and just decide for whatever is best for this situation. So if you've been following this channel for a little while, you know me, as far as picking what my favorite would be, that's definitely tough. I had to sit and think about it for a little while. I know if there was one I had to pick, if one end all be all, you know what I'm saying, like just one setup, it's gonna be this setup right here. I can't even cap. You know it's gonna be this one right here. If you've been following this channel, you already know it's gonna be this setup. This is my baby, and I like how it's set up right now. I haven't really done too much to it. But the thing is, it was definitely pretty hard to actually pick one, because if I had to choose one, it was hard, but I would definitely go with this one. And just because I can run and gun and then kind of just like reach out and touch a little bit as well. And I like how light it is, fast it is, and it's just, this is just the one I would pick. Like if I had to choose just one out of the three, though I like this one as well, I'm not gonna lie, it was tough because this one is solid as well. And I think like just from a standpoint of maneuverability and just being able to kind of get in and out, once I get this suppressed, I think this one's gonna be a contender. 300 blackout is different, so I can't really, I don't know. It's just hard to say as far as like using strictly 300 blackout, but 5.56 is a good round too, but I mean, so is 300 blackout. The thing is, if I had to choose one, like I said, it's gonna be this one right here, but this one is close as well. Once I get it set up how I want it set up, but you know, anybody, again, starting out, you may want to go with this, or you may want to go with this one, or you may want to even go with something like this, you know, just starting out. So it just really just depends on, you know, what you're going to be doing and what your setup is. So to wrap things up, you know, anybody who's watching and who's looking to get a new AR setup in 2025, I hope this video helped you to kind of help decide, you know, whether you want to go for more distance, whether you want to go with something kind of like in the middle, or whether you want to go with something like super close and intimate. That's up to you. Again, I didn't start out with all of these, you know what I'm saying? Like I had to eventually build out and figure out which ones I wanted to go with first. I will say I did go with 16-inch first, and then I just kind of graduated and figured out what I needed. But again, all these are good, so I can't say you're gonna go wrong. It just depends on what you're doing and what you need it for. But with that being said, this is your boy Ty. I'm out of this thing. I hope you liked this video. Make sure you subscribe, comment down below, and I'm out of this thing. Peace.